I've seen videos of ants doing insane things to survive, like in this one where they built a boat out of their bodies to survive a flood.
Or in this one where they built a dangling bridge out of their bodies to attack a wasp nest. So I was wondering, if I put my 1,000 ants into obstacle courses, will they do similar things to complete them?
Or are my ants just not that smart? Well, I just spent hours gathering 1,000 ants out my old ant nest.
So I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to put these guys up against their first ant obstacle.
Obstacle number 1 is this thing. Basically what we do is put some massive dead insect food at the bottom.
And then we fill it with a bunch of sand to turn it into one of those 2D ant nests.
Basically, we'll be able to watch the ants dig out all sorts of tunnel systems in here.
And if they actually find the insect food I hid at the bottom, then they'll pass the obstacle. And move on to the next obstacles that get harder and harder as the video goes on. All right, let's not waste any time and, well, let's just do this. Wow, that is very satisfying watching 1,000 ants fall in here.
Now, of course, immediately the ants all just start to try and climb the walls of the top area to try and escape. But surprisingly, many of the ants were already starting to dig down that center 2D part of the nest.
Oh my gosh, this is happening so fast. Wait, is there already progress on this side of the tank?
Oh, I just put these guys in literally like 45 seconds ago, and they've already dug like half an inch down in.
What?
Yep, and if you check out this time-lapse footage, you can see just how quickly they were getting work done.
They literally work like mini drills to dig these tiny tunnels through the sand.
But in reality, it's a tiring and grueling process where each individual grain of sand has to be picked up from a worker underground.
Brought all the way up to the surface through this little hole, and then dropped off at this pile of sand over here. Now, while I was recording this, it was actually getting pretty late in the day, so I decided to turn off the lights.
And came back the next day to see the progress made.
And guys, the next day I came back to the ant nest looking like this.
Bro, what? It's been literally like 8 hours. How did these ants build an entire intricate nest?
And not only were all these intricate tunnel systems made, but remember those dead insects I placed at the bottom as food?
Well, it's safe to say the ants found those too, and it looks like the whole colony had swarmed them. And had already started to devour them. And since they got to the insects, that technically means they passed this first obstacle. Congratulations, guys! It happened so fast, I literally didn't even capture that on camera.
Oh, but this next obstacle the ants are going up against will definitely be caught on camera.
Because the next obstacle is the tightrope of doom. Yes, you heard that right. And if you're wondering what that is, well, it's this thing. Yep, the ants will have to walk across this extremely narrow tightrope over a pit filled with fire and flames.
Oh, I gotta put that out.
Oh, yep, put that out. Oh, are you gonna go out?
No, I'm just kidding. That would be crazy. These are literally my pets, and I would never do that.
But I will be trapping the ants down here if they fall by lining the walls of this pit with this super slippery liquid stuff called Fluon.
I know you can't really see this stuff since it's invisible, but basically, when an ant tries to walk up on here now, it'll just slip off completely.
Yep, this stuff is super slippery, and you guys are about to see why this challenge gets so interesting in a second.
But if you look over at the 2D ant nest, you'll actually see I have a little hole here plugged up with some paper towels.
And if you also look here, I got some tubing, meaning I can connect this to the obstacle.
So yeah, let's just get this obstacle started. Come on, ants, let's get in here. Immediately after plugging in the tubing, obviously, ants noticed and started walking in. I mean, there's 1,000 ants. You can't even get away from them for a second. So that's what makes these obstacles fun, because it only took like 10 seconds till our first ant entered the tightrope of doom tank.
Now, to pass this obstacle, the ants quite literally just need to get one of these pieces of insect legs back across the tightrope.
Which I think might be impossible, but let's see how they do. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the ants started off with some pretty lackluster performance, because our first ants that made it to this tightrope didn't actually walk onto it.
They kind of just walked around it on the corner of this platform where they just ended up just slipping off.
Yeah, come on guys, what are you doing? But we got 1,000 ants, so I was expecting at least one of these ants to eventually step onto this tightrope. But as tons more ants started to walk into this room, yeah, they kind of all just did the same exact thing.
And the pit started to get absolutely filled up with tons of ants.
Come on, ants, what are you doing? No, I'm just kidding. I think this is actually my fault.
And to make them walk across the tightrope, I just got to fix something. Let me show you how to fix it. Basically, what I did was, first of all, tape 2 extra pieces of string to the tightrope to make it a bit thicker.
So the ants would feel safer when they walked on it. And also, I rubbed this insect jelly food on the tightrope.
To make the bridge smell like jelly. And yeah, hopefully this will make them want to walk on it. Now this worked exactly how I wanted it to, because within the first minute, our first workers actually started to walk onto the tightrope and explored it.
Just very slowly. But over time, more and more ants started to walk onto it.
And it was actually kind of funny because sometimes the ants would literally just be hanging from each other's legs because there would just be way too many on the tightrope at the same time.
Dang, these ants aren't very good at saving their friends. But it didn't take long for our first brave ant to actually make it to the end of this tightrope. That wasn't even half of the challenge, because now, if you remember, the ants actually got to pick up one of these insect legs and bring them back across the tightrope. And this ant clearly wasn't looking too interested in that.
Because, yeah, he was just completely ignoring them. So I kept waiting until some more ants made it to the side by crossing the tightrope.
And surprisingly, one of the ants that made it actually did seem interested in the legs, because he went up to one of them and actually started to bite it.
But if you couldn't tell, this leg is kind of way too big for this worker to carry it all by himself. And for some reason, even after tons of ants made it onto this side, none of them came to help this poor worker move the leg.
But this worker had a mission. He knew he needed to take a leg back to the colony.
So what he did was, he went up to one of the smaller insect legs that he could actually carry by himself.
And he actually picked it up and started to walk. Yep, yeah, it wasn't super efficient or anything.
But theoretically, he could pass this obstacle for the entire colony if he played his cards right. and played his cards right, he did, because I'm not joking, he walked straight over to the tightrope.
And he might have had an extremely close call where he almost fell off, but somehow he managed to save himself.
And then the ant actually started to walk across the tightrope with an insect leg in his mouth. Oh my gosh, guys, this is genuinely so insane. I'm rooting for you, bro.
I mean, you got a long way to go. But guys, the ants were doing so awful up to this point.
You can see how many fell into the pit of doom. Bro, this dude, he's just an absolute killer.
Yep, literally none of the 1,000 ants decided to help this dude. He was doing this entirely solo. And so he kept on marching, completely ignoring any ants that were in his way. And this dude made it all the way to the end of the tightrope, where he then walked onto the platform to complete the obstacle. Oh my gosh, this ant is insane. Seriously, I gotta name this guy. I think I'm gonna name him Anthony. And we're probably never gonna be able to find Anthony again, since all the ants look the same. But seriously, everyone, spam some W's in the comments for Antony. That was so insane. And since these guys beat the obstacle, I'm gonna give them the insect legs as a prize.
Thanks, Anthony. Hopefully you guys enjoy.
So I quickly moved all the fallen soldiers back to the 2D ant nest.
And well, this colony is now ready for its third obstacle.
And oh boy, am I excited for this one.
Because guys, these ants are gonna have to break into a vault. Yeah, like a robbery, basically.
Yep, you heard that right, a vault. For this obstacle, I literally built up a DIY bank vault from scratch out of paper.
That I knew the ants would probably be able to break into. You can see, it's pretty good, sort of looks like a real vault.
And anyways, it's cool because the door actually opens, so I could fill this bank vault with an absolutely insane amount of seeds. Yeah, I put so many seeds in here. Because yeah, apparently seeds are this species of ant's favorite food.
So they should absolutely swarm this thing. But I got this hot glue gun so I could seal this vault door shut.
Because I gotta make this actually a kind of hard obstacle. So let me just go and put some glue on here. Oh yeah, just like that.
All right, the vault is completely sealed shut with glue now, so let's see if these ants can actually get the seeds out of it. This is gonna be very interesting to watch. So yeah, I just put it in.
And as you can imagine, the 1,000 ant colony immediately started to climb onto it.
Especially when things are put into colonies' nests, they need to investigate it to make sure it's not a threat.
And with this, I think they pretty much immediately knew it wasn't a threat, because none of them were biting it or anything.
And actually, a lot of them were just using it as an opportunity to climb out of the enclosure. That's not good.
But yeah, the vault right now is pretty sealed shut, and I don't even think the ants knew that there were seeds inside of here.
So nothing really eventful happened, to be honest. Well, that was until this moment.
When you see this hole here, well, just out of nowhere, an ant just came up to it and walked into the hole. And yeah, there was just an ant inside of this vault with the absolute jackpot of seeds. I don't know how this hole got here. I guess maybe the sogginess from the sugar water made it droop or something. But wow, that is crazy.
Oh my gosh, wait, I think the ants just completed the obstacle. Let me get all the excess ants off this safe real quick. And yeah, once the extra ants had fallen off, I cut open the vault to see if that ant had actually made it inside.
And as you can see, he absolutely had made it inside. Oh my gosh, bro, your colony has no clue how much he just clutched up for them.
Wait, imagine if this is Antony, that same ant that beat the obstacle course? That would be insane.